Amal Unbound by Said, Chapter 27 and 28, read for you by Mrs. Shoemaker. Nazarene Baji insisted I not leave the confines of our room the rest of the day. What more did she think Jawad Sahib would do? The numbness of the initial assault now faded. The bruise deepened into my skin, along with an anger so hot it threatened to burn me alive. Why did I take Nabila at her word? Why couldn't I have at least mentioned it to Mumtaz before I dashed off at the first opportunity? There was no leaving this place. There never would be. You weren't really running away, were you? Nazarene Baji asked that evening. No, Baji. There are only so many times my son will let things pass. You must remember. You can't forget your place. Forget my place? Every day I woke up without the scent of my mother's breakfast wafting through the air. Every day I woke to deafening silence instead of my sister's laughter and shrieks. Every day I remember everything I lost. I realize now that as kind as Nazarene Baji could be to me, she would never understand my position. I'm sorry, I said. It'll never happen again. Let me look at you. She motioned me toward her. It will take a few days, but it will fade. I spoke with Jawad. He agrees you've been punished enough. When she left to watch television in the living room that night, I returned to my room. No sooner did I sit down than the door creaked open. Fatima stepped inside. She carried a wooden tray with a bowl of lentils. Baba sent this for you, she said, or she set the tray down on my bed. Tell him I said thank you. I saw a scrap of paper balled up in her fist. What's that? She handed the paper over shyly. I unfolded it. Line after line, an entire page was filled with the letter Aleph. Good work, Fatima. See how fast you learned. I pulled out a pencil from my satchel and turned the paper over. I drew the next letter. It's curved, like a cooking pot with a floating dot. You call it Be. Be, she repeated. I handed her the pencil to try it herself when the door opened again. Nabila and Mumtaz walked in. Nabila wants to say something to you, Mumtaz said. Nabila stood by the door, her arms limp at her sides. I'm sorry. Nabila glanced at Mumtaz and then back at me. It's done now, I said. It's just that everything was fine until you came here. Her lower lip quivered. I served Baji loyally for years. I never complained, and now? She looks past me as if I don't exist. And the same will happen to me one day, won't it? I snapped. You can't control it any more than I can't control it any more than you could. Amal's right. Nazreen chose to do what she did. It wasn't Amal's doing, Mumtaz said. Nabila, jealousy will only hurt you. And Amal, holding on to anger is useless. You both could be here forever, and the sooner you stop fighting and realize you are in the same situation, the easier your lives will be. You're right, Nabila said quietly. I'm sorry. My head hurts, I said. I'd like to rest. Nabila searched my face before she followed Mumtaz and Fatima out of the room. Forever? Mumtaz said I could be here forever. I used to say the walk to the market took forever when the weather was especially hot, and that summers felt endless because I missed school. Only now that I was trapped did I understand the heaviness of forever. If this was to be my life now, If this really was where I'd be stuck, then I did have to let go of what happened with Nabila. This was what my mother would tell me to do. She would tell me the only one I hurt by holding a grudge was myself. But how could I let it go? The thought seemed as impossible as leaving this gated estate behind me for good. Chapter 28. I ironed and sorted Nazarene Baji's clothes the next day, while she was out with her son visiting a prospective bride. Even though I knew Jawad Sahib wasn't here, stepping foot into the open foyer that afternoon left me feeling exposed. Thankfully, the halls were empty now. I was walking down the hallway toward the main veranda to gather fresh flowers to replace the ones in her vases, when I heard a knock on the front door. Bilal hurried down the hallway and looked out the window. "It's them again," he paled. "Who?" I asked him. "The police," he stammered. "But Jawad Sahib, he's gone. What do we do?" The knocking resumed, louder now. Bilal glanced at me and bit his lip before reaching up and unlatching the door. Two police officers in dark green uniforms with brown batons and steel guns holstered at their waists sauntered into the marble foyer. "Where is he?" the taller one asked Bilal. "Jawad Sahib?" Bilal asked. "Well, I'm not here to see you, am I?" the other officer retorted. His mustache was thick like bicycle handles. "Of course Jawad Sahib. Where is he?" "He's not here." Bilal studied the ground. "He is out with his mother." "When will they be back?" "I'm not sure." "Good timing." The tall officer smiled at the other one. "I have a knack for these things." The mustached officer grinned. "No harm in taking a look around," the taller one said. "Might find some fun surprises along the way." "We'll find what we need faster without him breathing down our neck anyway," the other one said and smirked. How could they openly discuss wandering around and disrupting Jawad Sahib's property, as if Bilal and I didn't exist? These officers didn't care, because it wouldn't be them Jawad Sahib would blame. I expected Bilal to stop these men, whose muddy feet were already tracking footprints onto the marble floor, but he stood frozen to the side. The officers wandered toward the hallway to the left of the spiral staircase, the one with the cream carpet so difficult to clean. No, I was not going to let these police officers get us in trouble. "Jawad Sahib will not be pleased if you walk around his house while he's not here," I called out. "And who will tell him?" The taller one turned around and studied my face. "You'd be smart to remember he's not the only one who can leave bruises." "If you have a message for him, I can relay it." "My message is for you to mind your business. Guards understand this. The boy over there definitely does. You'd be wise to follow their lead." "Yes, go sweep the stairs, little girl. This doesn't concern you," the mustache one said. "It does concern me," I pointed to their shoes. "You've tracked mud into the foyer, and once it gets to the carpet, I can't imagine anyone, especially Jawad Sahib, will be happy to see your footprints." "She's right." Jawad Sahib stood at the front door. Nazarene Baji clutched his arm. The girl misunderstood us," the tall one sputtered. "We were only inquiring where you were." "And since when do you arrive unannounced?" "Forgive us, but the orders came from above. Our boss told us to get word to you immediately." Jawad Sahib stared at them. "You'd be smart to remember you have more than one boss," he said. "Yes, Jawad Sahib, you are right," the taller officer said. The vein at the base of Jawad Sahib's neck throbbed. He strode to the backyard. The officers hurried after him. "Well done, Amal," Nazarene Baji said. "That couldn't have been easy." None of this is easy, I wanted to tell her. My new life was simply about making choices, none of which I actually wanted to make.